Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Landers, back with authentic relationship opinions in the hopes that you can achieve your relationship goals and dreams, like I have. Here are 5 conversations to have before you get engaged. Because after you get engaged, it's super hard to break up compared to before. So don't just think that you can get engaged and then break up right before the wedding, because that's not easy. Number 1, a conversation with yourself. Do you genuinely want to marry this person and be with them for the rest of your life? Or are you settling because you have a fear of blank? Whatever the fear is for you, whether it's you're not going to find someone else, you'll never find anyone better, you're too old, you're not going to be able to have kids, your parents like him, he makes a lot of money, whatever it is, there may be a fear that's nagging in the back of your head that is the real reason that you're getting married. And honestly, I think the majority, maybe not the majority, I would say like at least 40% of people that are getting married, one of the people in the relationship is not 100% sure. Getting married is not that great if you married the wrong person. So don't be in a rush to marry the wrong person. And you know deep down inside, if you're asking yourself, is this the right person? They're not the right person. I'm telling you, I've never questioned it. 13 years I've been with my husband, 7 years of marriage. Like, I still do not question the love that I have for this guy. And I hope I never do. I'm not judging that people that have the ups and downs. Number 2, talking about anything that you want to change. Whatever it is, whether you're right or wrong, if you're going into a marriage with the intentions of changing that person, I don't think that's a good idea. Future husband does not make as much money as you would like, but you're young and you're at the beginning of your career. This could be something that could be discussed, in my opinion, because if you're expecting that he's going to be making $100,000 within 5 years, that may not be a realistic expectation, or it may be a realistic expectation. That's why you discuss it. If it's not a realistic expectation, then you need to have an honest conversation with yourself whether or not you can handle that. And if you can't handle that, then be honest with yourself about it. I think a lot of people think that they're going to change something about someone when really they're not even willing to change themselves. How the hell do you think you're going to change someone else when you can't even change yourself? Number 3, anything that nags at you and you feel could be an issue in your future marriage. This includes in-laws, addictions, previous children that you're bringing into the marriage, how your day-to-day relationship and life will go with that person. For example, do they expect that their parents are going to move in with you when they get into their old age? And you're thinking absolutely not. These are conversations that you should have before you get engaged. 4, unhealed issues, addiction, trauma from your childhood, bad relationship patterns, yelling, maybe things like that. And if they are genuinely on your to-do list, and how are we going to break this cycle? For example, when my husband and I got engaged, divorce is a very common thing in my family, and I genuinely feared marriage because marriage had a beginning and an end, and I didn't want our relationship to end. And this is something that we talked about, my fear, and my husband was able to bring such an other whole healed aspect to that conversation, because he came from a healthy home where his parents were married until the day his mom passed away, unfortunately, but they were high school sweethearts and were married 40 something years. He was able to come to the table with information that helped me to heal those fears that I had going into the relationship, because we're human. So unless both of you are perfect people, which no one is, you're not going to be able to just come into this relationship with no issues on either side. I also feel that it's a good place to begin. I want to be able to speak with my husband about my fears throughout our entire relationship, not just when we're engaged. So if I'm having any fears about the wedding, or how, is my uncle going to get drunk, or whatever it could be, there's always something going on, because we're humans and it's not just a smooth ride all the time. You want to be able to talk about this with this partner, and sometimes talking pops the bubble. I remember when me and my husband were engaged, and me and my husband were dating, I was so nervous because my husband can be kind of annoying sometimes. Not annoying, but Phil Dunphy annoying, from a Modern Family. He'd Sometimes I'll walk through a room like juggling when I'm like trying to have a serious conversation. And now I can totally laugh about it. But I remember like, 10 years ago being like, oh my gosh, I sometimes am slightly annoyed by this person. Like, is that a bad sign? And I remember like asking my mother-in-law, like, do you ever get annoyed by your husband? And her being like, do I get annoyed? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. And like the lightness and the jokiness of it, of her being like, yeah, he can be a real like child almost, but in the best way possible, like in a silly way where he'll have like marbles in his pocket that will like fall out and go flying or something. And being able to speak with my mother-in-law about that was so amazing for me, because it popped the bubble when I realized that, oh my gosh, this is a really common thing. It really isn't that big of a deal. Their biggest issue is that my husband can be a little silly sometimes. Maybe I'm the one that's being too uptight, and it's not an issue now. Like, I'm not perfect either. I'm sure I'm annoying on some days, and now I just laugh and love it. Number 5, your day-to-day expectations of what life will look like. It's not just how many vacations do we want to go on a year, or what kind of car do we want to drive. It's who's going to pack lunches for the kids. Do we want kids? Am I going to be working full time? Are you going to be working full time? Are we both working full time? Until you have these conversations about what the day-to-day ins and outs, like who's going to cook dinner, who's going to take out the trash, who's going to be in charge of paying bills, things like that. It may seem boring, but that is what marriage really is. That is what life really is. It's the day-to-day ins and outs. It's waking up and having breakfast together or not having breakfast together. It's your schedule. Like, are you going to be on completely opposite shifts? And are you okay with that? Some people might be okay with that. I wouldn't be. So the day-to-day rhythm of your life. So don't just plan the wedding. Don't just plan the cake and the music. Plan the life. You should be spending at least as much time planning your life as you're planning your wedding, because the wedding will be over in one day. And I work in the wedding industry. It's not that I don't love weddings. The only time a wedding is amazing to me is when the people are genuinely soulmates. So smaller weddings can be amazing if you're marrying the right person, and big lavish weddings can be meaningless if you're marrying someone that isn't the right person, in my opinion. Thanks for watching. I'm Sam Landers, giving you honest relationship opinions in the hopes that you can achieve your relationship dreams just like I have.